From the high plains of the Midwest, I bid you good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, whatever your time zone might be. My nod to the late and great Art Bell. I'm Keith Sharp.
And I'm G. Drussel.
And we welcome you to Life After Life, a paranormal webcast where we talk about the paranormal, UFOs, or the unexplained. And the biggest question of them all, what happens when we die? Stay tuned. Do you guys like that 30-second thing?
I like it.
It's like every YouTube show in the world now.
No, we're in here just getting our minds right.
We're exactly like everybody now. Good Lord, there's a lot of people in the chat room already. Well, I wish we would have went over the show, but we didn't. No, I'm just I'm joking. No, what a crazy case. Crazy. I mean, as I think we follow cases, and then we say this almost every week. This is a crazy case. This one's wacko.
It's right up there with them, isn't it?
It is. It's crazy.
What's up, Randy?
Hey, Randy, let's do some shouts real quick. Mona, how you doing? Lipsha, how are you? Susie, good to see you. Mona, did I say it twice? Yeah. It makes it sound like we got more people. I'll just keep going. Garrett, Russell, Keith, Susie, good to see you. Lipsha, Patrick, how you doing? Savannah, Randy Southwell, Michael.
Congrats to Savannah. She made the cheer squad.
Yeah, congrats to Savannah. She made the cheer squad. All right. Got two cheers there. Got Michael Russell, Alex, Susie. We love you.
Susie. I chanted her name earlier. Susie.
Susie.
Yeah.
Susie. Thank you so much, Susie. We really do appreciate it. You're so awesome for doing that. It does help, you guys. So if you guys will follow suit with Susie, maybe we can keep on doing the show. How about that?
Tell me about this, Keith.
I will. I'm tired of this. We come here every day.
You guys do
Susie's
want
the only
one
to
shirts,
give.
Right?
Yeah, you guys want one of these, right? All right. You paid for this. No. No. Actually, all the money that we got from all you guys, it was Garrett sitting in it.
Yep.
And they don't send you, I don't know if you guys have YouTube channels or if you know how it works, but they don't give you a check until you reach $100. So I think we're at like 15 right now.
Heck yeah, dude.
So it'll take a few months to get that.
This is my favorite night of the week, though.
It is. I love this, man. I love doing a show for you guys. It's fun. And if it wasn't, we wouldn't be here.
Yeah.
We ain't in it for the money.
Yeah. And who said that?
I think it'd be funny if I just went off for 5 minutes and everybody like, how come you can't even give $1?
Yeah. You suck.
What the hell's wrong with you people? I come and do all this. There's some people some YouTubers kind of like that.
Really?
A little bit.
Really?
Yeah. I saw one guy the other day. He's like, well, I can't say because people know who I'm talking about. So let's just keep that under wraps. Okay, Susie, again, thank you so much. Guys, thank you for showing up tonight. This is awesome. It seems like, I know we were here last week, right? No, we weren't. Yeah. You're in Florida. Yeah.
Which is crazy.
I was going to say, it seems like we've been off a week.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Are you done with your vacations?
Yes. No more Florida trips.
Yeah, let's everybody say no more for him, right? That's it. You're done.
It was insane.
No more trips.
What was crazy is like as we were leaving for this trip is when Cass is really prevalent on like Instagram, my wife, for those of you who don't know. And so
my daughter.
Yes, your daughter. So she started like following this case and I was like, yeah, I don't know. We went to Disney and like every day she was on it and it just kind of kept getting bigger and crazier and more insane. And I was actually gonna say Michael Russell okay, yeah, he's kind of like updating people, but yeah, justice for Gabby. This is crazy, dude. It's just wild.
Yeah, keep talking because I got to do something real quick.
No, you're fine. Guys, we're gonna go over the timeline. We're gonna be extremely, obviously, respectful of Gabby. Obviously, they have found her. We'll get into all of that. Oh,
what?
Hey, Mr. G. Henry wants to know how they can share this link on Facebook because they have friends from Florida wanting to watch this.
Just tell them to go to Life After Life Paranormal Podcast. Click on the link.
Okay.
If I had, hang on. You talk, Garrett. Let me see if I can figure this out real quick.
No, yeah. So
because I can actually put it in there, right?
Okay, yeah.
Right. So you keep talking.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
I will.
I'll go over here.
No, what I was gonna say was like the crazy thing about this is we decided. We actually had another show planned, and I talked with Keith and my wife, and So we decided, hey, let's go ahead and do a show about this situation with Gabby. And then what was difficult about it is that it kept kind of shifting every day because this is one of those cases where there's so much information out there. There's so much coming in minute by minute. And so we've kind of had to shift this show over and over again. And now it's at the point where obviously cool. It becomes about where the hell is Brian?
Dude, it's such a big link. I'm sorry that it.
Holy smokes!
Where you got to click on 3 of them here? Keep talking, Garrett. I'm going to try something else.
Okay, I'll just let you try it, and then we'll get in. It's fine.
Yeah, I'm just trying
we
to
want to get everybody in before
we do.
About it.
Man, I apologize, you guys. I meant to post this like a couple days ago, but our original plan was going to have a demonologist on, and actually he was a bishop, and he was going to walk us through doing exorcisms in this strange case. But he had to have surgery today.
So yeah, well, and we decided that this was kind of
we had to jump onto this because it's
wild.
Yeah, it's an important case, and
it really is important.
Where the heck is this guy at? Where did he go? Right?
No, absolutely.
Okay, let me see. Get a shareable link.
Yeah.
All right, let's try this, everyone, and see if this works or not. It may be the same. It shouldn't.
There we go.
Let's see. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me get rid of all this other stuff over here, you guys.
Yeah. Block that user.
I'd block myself out of here. That's something stupid I would probably do. Look, can't ban a chat owner monitor.
That's fine.
There. Yeah, it'll just stay up.
Yeah, we'll just keep talking.
It is kind of silly though. You can't
block yourself.
No, that you can't delete. Delete the post is what it's showing. You can't do. So
should we leave the studio and restart everything?
No, no. I think we'd lose everybody.
We've
done
that before.
But anyway, so let's see. I'll put it up there. So there it is.
There you go.
All right, Greg Henry. There you go, partner. Yeah, Greg is actually from Florida, so he's probably.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Greg, what's up, Greg?
Yeah.
I miss him.
So he's probably hearing all the latest.
Yeah, dude.
There's a WFLA, I think is what it's called, in Florida. They've been showing 24 hours on YouTube.
Right. Well, and I actually was thinking about Greg because it's in the area. I'm not going to say it. Well, people can, but it's kind of in the area where he's at. Is where a lot of this is happening.
Yeah, Greg, I don't know why there isn't a share link. There should be. I can check real quick and tell you. I guess you're talking about the Facebook, right? Let's see. Yeah, there's a share link under where it says view insights and has everybody who liked it on Facebook. If you hit share, just hit that. Dumbass.
Greg's such a dumbass.
Greg's a dumbass, man.
Oh, Greg.
I do too.
So kind.
Okay, so shall we get on with this? They're probably waiting, right?
Yeah. But I just what I was saying, I was kind of waiting for you so that we could get on the same page with this.
Yeah.
Okay, is that obviously we've done quite a few cases for all the shows we've done.
A lot.
Yeah, and so this is kind of you did the Wells case. That one's ongoing. Obviously Delphi's ongoing.
Yeah.
Right.
I'll just say something about the Wells case.
Yeah, go ahead.
My personal opinion is, everybody's slamming Don Wells for this, and of course, rightly so.
Right.
For his essay, and but it's no one knows just yet. And they should have all those phone records back. I mean, they should have them back like 30, because that takes 30 days, I think, and we're over 90 days into this case. So obviously there's nothing really incriminating on the phone stuff, or I think an arrest would have been made if there was something just.
Whoa.
What is that?
That's you, good sir.
No, it's not. Oh, that's the home phone.
Oh,
sorry about that. Okay. Yeah, we need to learn to shut that off before. Sorry about that. But anyway, so what I'm thinking, guys, I don't know, but on the Wells case is, I think if they would have texted, hey, she's dead or something, then okay, that's obvious evidence. Let's arrest him. Well, they haven't made an arrest yet, so there can't be too much evidence, right?
For sure.
So they don't have a body.
Right.
So unless they're, trying to build their case, which I'm sure that's, it takes a year, Barry, look at Morphew.
Yeah.
It took them a while. But I think if there would have been something blatantly on those phone records, you could probably make a case off of, yeah, we killed Summer or whatever, right?
Right.
So I'm seeing this case, maybe I'm not going to say going unsolved, because I think it'll get solved, but it could take a while.
Yeah, definitely.
I think. I mean, what do you guys think? You guys, well, I know some of you guys are following that case. I would think so. Anyway, I know I am. But even Don, when he's talking to, like, he was recorded by his sister Mary, and he didn't know he's being recorded. He's never made any type of admissions or anything. He's been, either very careful. I think Candace and him know more than what's going on. I think my thing is, I think they came home. She possibly fell down the stairs, broke her neck or something. They've been under investigation from DHS for a while, right?
Yeah.
They're going to lose their kids. So they thought, okay, we're definitely going to lose our kids with a dead child. That's what I think. I don't think anything was done intentionally to murder her. I think maybe possibly it was an accident. Or if the sun, the moon, the stars, and the universes are on the right, then someone took her. But it's kind of, I think more, I go towards more of a accident with her.
Right.
Anyway, so yeah, I mean, and there's some channels just, I mean, they're slamming him now just on the essay, which is fine.
Right.
He deserves it for what he did to his sisters and everything. Is horrible. But anyway, but they're getting off track a little bit, as far as, they're spending so much time just talking about him that they're not really talking about, well, where could Summer be or whatever.
Right.
So yeah, so it's almost like, I don't know. Every day there's something that's just slamming Don, and I'm not defending Don, like I said, at all.
Yeah.
But there's right now, as a people, we have no proof that he did anything.
Right. Yeah, definitely.
So, anywho, because just think, they're going to be some of these people, if Don is not involved, their reputations are going down the toilet.
Right.
And there's one particular individual who I like him and I watch him.
Yeah.
And he's got a good reputation. But if he's wrong, his credibility, man, is going to go right down the toilet. Actually, there's 2 or 3 that are, I think. Yeah. So anyway, all right. Well, let's get on with this, Garrett. Which picture would you like me to show first? And you first give them a little overview of what's going on, right?
Yeah. So, well, I mean, I'm glad we kind of talked about the Wells case a little bit, because as I was saying earlier, when we were trying to fiddle around with the Facebook stuff, is that, the difficult thing about this was that it was changing. We hadn't, for a while, they hadn't found Gabby, right? And everything like that. And so everybody's hoping she was alive and everything. So, but it kept just kind of progressing on. And now we have just this. It's interesting because we have this wealth of information.
Yep.
But at the same time, we're missing such a huge piece of the puzzle, which is Brian.
Yeah, exactly. I'm going to turn that fan on. Go ahead.
Yeah, good. Okay. I'll actually let you go by. Okay, so let's talk about the timeline a little bit. I'm going to do some reading, just because Keith and I were talking, and there's so much that's going into this case and everything like that. It's just that we have to kind of get our ducks in a row. So we'll leave this on for a second, just so they can be aware of it.
Yeah.
We'll go
well, we can do some, we got some pictures.
Go to the timeline.
So people who are not familiar, I mean, they can kind of see what's going on, right?
So the FBI confirmed on Tuesday that the remains found in Sunday in the area of the Bridger Teton National Forest were actually Gabby Petito, 22 years old, whose parents were reported her missing more than a week ago. The coroner's initial determination for Petito's manner of death is a homicide. The FBI said in a tweet, Petito had been traveling with her boyfriend, Brian Laundrie, prior to her disappearance. Laundrie returned to the pair's Northport, Florida home earlier this month without Petito and refused to talk to the authorities. His parents later told police he left home with a backpack on September 14th. Local and federal authorities searched for Laundrie in a Florida nature reserve, but said Tuesday those efforts have yet to yield any answers. Okay, so here's what we know about the timeline.
Okay.
June 2021.
Would you like me to put the timeline
sure.
up on there? Because we do have that somewhere.
Right there. Map.
Okay. Yep. And thank you, Mel, for sending this picture. Actually, this did help us out quite a bit.
Yep. Okay. So June 2021, Petito and Laundrie embark on a cross-country trip, according to Northport Police Chief Todd Garrison, who refers to Laundrie as Petito's fiance, which we'll talk about in a little bit. They plan to travel to Petito's white Ford van to the West Coast and visit state and national parks across the Western United States. This is what Garrison said in his news briefing.
Okay.
She had been excited to share her journey with her family and others on social media. She maintained regular contact with her family and family members during her travels. However, that communication abruptly stopped around the end of August, the police chief adds.
Okay.
August 12th, 2021. Moab, Utah police have an encounter with the couple on August 12th, where police officers describe them as engaging in some sort of altercation. Although the two are described as getting into a physical fight following an argument, both the male and female reported they are in love and engaged to be married and desperately didn't wish to see anyone charged with the crime. A report from Officer Eric Pratt says, at officer suggestion, the couple was separated for the night, the report says, which describes Petito as confused and emotional. After evaluating the totality of the circumstances, I do not believe the situation escalated to that of a level of domestic assault as much as that as a mental health crisis. Officer Daniel Robbins writes in his report, no charges are filed. The couple each had their own cell phones in case of emergency, the report adds.
So not to interrupt you, but you said that the law enforcement, because we've been hearing, and probably you too, is like, okay, something about, again, these aren't what's that word? Established or whatever.
Right.
Is that she's on medication?
Oh yeah, that's
right.
Yeah. The father said.
Okay, yeah. Was she on medication?
Well, the father, I don't know if any of you guys caught the Dr. Phil episode, which we've said a lot of times. You know,
well, I certainly
you
did.
know, I'm a Phil fan. I love Dr. Phil. Yeah, and so it was pretty brutal. Keith, I was talking to you about this. Like, it was brutal to watch because we knew that they had found the body when they heard it, and so I was like, ugh. But yeah, the father said there had been no history of mental illness, you know, and I think like because she was using the word like I have OCD. I'm sure most of you watching this, you guys have seen the video, the body cam of the police officer.
Now so is OCD, is that her main condition? Or do we have
that people are saying, but the father says that she's never been, you know, prescribed medication.
Right. Yeah, there's a little cat hair or something on there.
She's never been prescribed medication or been diagnosed with any kind of mental illness, OCD, or anything like that.
Okay, so they, you know, the internet ran with that because they were
big time.
They were saying not only her, but they said basically we have two mentally unstable people going on a trip.
And they had gone on trips before.
Right. But we can take the severe mental illness out of it now. OCD, I'm OCD, you're OCD to a point.
People, you hear it all the time, like, oh, I'm OCD.
Yeah.
When, you know, like really, you're not like diagnosed with OCD, but you have OCD about stuff, like your Hawaiian shirts.
Yeah, I do.
You know,
I just started buying a lot of Hawaiian shirts. I love them.
But people do, you hear it all the time. Like I hear it in passing all the time. Oh, I'm OCD. Oh, I have OCD. It's like, no, you don't. Right. So I think just that's common kind of verbiage that people use in moments like this. Shut up, Gavin. Take that off there. He's an idiot.
Yeah, you sound like Gray Hughes now.
Yeah. Take it. I know, Gavin.
Get that guy over here.
He's a dumb one. Okay. So, but yeah, so there was no history of mental illness or anything like that. Wait, here we go.
What?
Okay. I was just reading what Mona said.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. See, like people do say that about themselves.
What's it? We gotta go work. Okay. Sorry about that.
Love you, bye, Pamo.
Love you, bye. That's what happens when you're a head nurse.
No, I know, man.
She gets called out all the time. Anyway, I didn't mean, I'm sorry.
No, you're good. You're good.
So,
I'm glad we talked about that part, though.
I'm glad we got this timeline up because this was something I was confused about. So they leave from New York, right?
Right.
Okay, so they go to the Monument Rocks Natural Landmark in Kansas on July 4th. So they stay there for 4 days, roughly, Colorado Springs. Zion, I know you've already read this. I'm just doing this for myself and my viewers here.
Yeah, no, good.
June 21st, Bryce Canyon National Park in Utah, Mystic Hot Springs, and Monroe. What date are you at right now? You're at August 12th on the altercation.
Yeah, and we can talk about some of this stuff. So, like, because they were, you know, documenting this. She wanted to have this website, and everything like that. So, They seemed happy at the Mystic Hot Springs. You know, she was on her post talking about how beautiful the trips were and everything like that. So everything seemed fine up to this this August 12th incident.
So Louise, I kind of agree with you. From what I've seen of Brian, and maybe he was just really nervous, but he was like talking rapidly and almost like jittery and almost like meth like,
manic, right?
Very manic,
right?
Which, you know, so that's I agree with Louise on that.
No, I do. Yeah, I mean something was definitely going on, and Brian's sister said that they would fight.
Yeah, well, every couple fights.
Yeah, especially when you're young and you're living together and everything like that. So,
now, how much older was he than her?
I believe a year. Somebody can correct me if you know.
Yeah.
They were around the same age.
Because she was 23?
22.
22, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I believe he was 23.
God,
so,
she was just a baby, man.
I know. Well, and this is what we talked about, Keith. Like, and what I was telling you even before the show, I actually reached out to Mona. I hope she doesn't mind me saying this, but I reached out and I was like, hey, do you think it's too soon? And she was like, no, because there's a lot of things that we can be talking about, right, that are around this case. She was so young, man. This was a young couple and he was 23. So a young couple, and everything said, you know, pretty much they're in love. They had these altercations, but it wasn't anything that rose to the level of he's going to return home without her.
Yeah.
She's going to be found dead in a national park, right?
Right.
Okay.
Right. So go ahead and read more about this altercation. So basically they get pulled over by the police.
Well, yeah. Somebody had called and said that they had seen them fighting. Here, let me.
Okay.
Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say this. You know, because you know that new recording had just came out in that 911 call,
right,
about seeing a man slapping a girl. Now, were they responding to this gentleman's call?
I believe so.
Or was it someone else?
Yeah, I believe so. I was gonna,
because they were trying to also vet that to make sure that wasn't a fake 911 call that someone put together.
Did you hear that?
Yeah,
the guy kind of sounded like the guy that takes the phone call. He's kind of like an a-hole.
Well, I mean, sorry, but a lot of 911 operators are kind of like that.
Yeah, I'm sure they get a lot of shitty calls.
I do. But I mean, there's sometimes when they don't take things as serious as they should.
Yeah, for sure.
So
definitely.
Yeah. So go ahead.
Okay. So okay, in a 911 audio recording from that day, which was provided by the Grand County Sheriff's Office, a caller tells dispatch he wanted to report a domestic dispute. This is the call you're talking about.
Right.
And described a white van with a Florida license plate. The caller said that they were driving by and the gentleman was slapping the girl. Then we stopped, the caller added. They ran up and down the sidewalk. He proceeded to hit her, hopped in the car, and drove off.
Yeah.
That's bad.
That's real bad. I mean, and if that information... But you know,
the sheriff's office is the one that came out with
right,
and verified the recording.
Yeah, I mean, you know, those guys are feeling horrible right now.
I know,
because had they arrested him at that moment,
right,
this wouldn't have happened. Because basically, he would have got held,
right,
and she probably would have got sent home.
I mean, see, I'm curious because, like,
but then we got to talk. I mean, but we can talk about a motive and a little bit of.
We will.
You know, I don't. Yeah, I'll say later what I think, but.
Well, you and I talked about earlier about how you're like, man, what do you think? These cops that had the body cam, they probably feel terrible.
Oh, they got. I mean, you're thinking, I let this guy go, and he ends up murdering his girlfriend. You know, how would you feel? And I don't think that they did a bad job handling it. I think they were being very nice cops, and they were just like, we'll give them a break, you know.
Diffuse the situation.
Because how many times you see people fighting, and usually
on a road trip,
and you're not thinking it's ever going to turn into a murder.
Well, yeah, and like that's because cops is like, well, how do you think the cops handled it? I was like, actually, really well.
Yeah,
like I think that's probably protocol, right? Now, if then you match the reports of him chasing her down and hitting her, that would be something completely different.
Well, what about this though? If the details of the 911 call was given to the sheriff's department, you said the sheriff's the one to pull him over, right? And he has a.
Let me double check. Let me double check. Hang on, because
listen, it doesn't matter. I mean, it's law enforcement. Okay, we'll just say law enforcement.
Yeah, but this is where we kind of run into trouble in these cases. We talked about it in the Zodiac case, where like if a call comes in and the sheriff takes it, but the Moab Police Department is the one responding to this call. Sometimes they're not corresponding with each other.
So what do you think that they got all? I mean, do you think
that's what I'm curious?
I'm wondering. I bet the call went something like this: hey, there's a domestic dispute going on, and you describe the car and whatever.
Right.
Probably didn't go into details about, hey, this guy was slapping the crap out of this girl. I think that would have made a difference.
It would have made a huge difference.
But then you got to have proof on the arrest. I mean, you've got a word of a citizen, and I don't know. Yeah, I don't think. Yeah, the cops have to go there. They have to investigate it. They can't arrest him just because some guy said he was hitting her.
Right.
So once they talk to both of them, then they're satisfied with what happened. Like, okay, they're cooling off.
Right.
You go to the hotel. You get your van or whatever, and separate from each other. Right. So yeah, I think they were. They did their job. They
did.
They did.
And that's why.
And I doubt they got all the information. I bet you money that 911 guy just told them, hey, there's a domestic dispute. Just check it out. Make sure she's okay.
Yeah, and here's what you and I also were talking about before is like, should we show the video? And we figured everybody had probably seen it, but the second thing is, sorry, I was reading some of it.
No, that's fine.
The second thing is that I didn't like the way it showed her. Right, so upset. Like this really bothered me, this man, because like we both have daughters. You have daughters that are this age, dude.
Yeah.
And so, but the second thing is, I hated seeing her like almost defend him, like it was her fault. Like I have no OCD. He locked her. He admits to locking her out of the van.
Yeah.
Right.
Like,
don't you think at that point he would have called the cop? Like if he was that scared of her and this and that, so it is just kind of a bizarre situation that the cops were in an impossible circumstance.
Right. Yeah. And I saw another YouTuber again saying that he said, hey, we don't know what she did to this guy. She could have got irrational. She could have started slapping him, scratching him, hitting him, which still doesn't, you never should hit a woman ever.
Right.
But it was almost kind of defending
him.
Yeah.
Right.
Brian.
Yeah, Brian.
Yeah. So who's Chris? Made a statement to Ellie. I'm sorry, I'm reading you guys' chat here. Another witness, Chris, made a statement to Ellie, and he claimed in a written statement that Gabby was hitting him. So 2 different accounts.
Yeah, and well, let's continue to go on. And
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, you're good. So, the last week of August, Petito's family told police they were last in contact with her during last week of August. Northport police said this. Before the last communication, Petito is believed to have been in Grand Teton National Park in Wyoming. In a news conference in September, Petito's family attorney, Richard Stafford, says the family's last communication with Petito was August 30th, but they do not believe the message they received was from her. This is when they get the message, there's no service in Yosemite.
Gotcha.
Which is weird.
If there's no service, how'd they send it?
And they weren't
in Yosemite,
California.
Yeah, they weren't.
I think like what the dad said was initially when they got that, there was still it's crazy. I'm glad that we have done all these true crime cases too, because you pick up things along the way. But like we were talking about earlier, the mom just didn't feel like this text came from her daughter.
Right.
Like she had this intuition.
So I wanted to bring this up. LPS tie-dye, it was not communicated. See, that's what I thought too.
That's okay.
And LPS tie-dye, that's Cass. Okay, yeah. That's common. That's real common.
What do you mean? What wasn't communicated? I'm sorry.
That it was basically, from I'm understanding, it's meaning that the dispatch, when they contacted law enforcement, didn't say he was slapping the crap out of her. They just said, hey, domestic dispute, check it out.
In that situation, I think that and obviously these laws are different in every state, but in some states, if they have that information, that's enough to go ahead and take somebody in, right?
Right.
At least for questioning or something like that. So let's keep reading some of these really fast.
Why did Brian leave to go back to Florida to help his dad put all of Gabby's stuff in a storage unit? Why would he leave to do that, then go back again to where Gabby was staying? Does not have to me. Yeah, it's an awesome question. And see, now we got the parents' involvement here. It sure looks like it.
Oh, God, dude.
I mean, how would, if my son, and if I thought he had something to do with murdering his girlfriend,
oh my God,
I'm calling law enforcement. I'm sorry, but I am. I mean, it's you know,
guys, for those of you who don't know, Keith has a son that's he's like 18, 19 years old. So like we can kind of put ourselves in the shoes a little bit. And like we were talking about, what if she lived in this
17?
Okay, but but you know what I'm saying?
No, I know. Yeah, I can.
Okay, let's fast forward 5 years, and now he's 22.
There's
girlfriend lives here though. Like, Keith, I
Yeah.
know you, man.
Well,
Like,
then you and that makes it even harder because you get to know and you get to you fall in love with his girlfriend. You love the
exactly.
girlfriend. So then
Which by all accounts,
she's a part of the family.
yeah,
And if I thought he had anything to do with it, well, the first thing I'd say, look, we're going to the police. We're going right now,
yes.
and we're going to tell the truth what happened. You know, if it's an accident, tell us an accident. If you killed her, then I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You got to, you know, you can't be on a run for your rest of your life. And I'm not going to.
Yeah, and I play devil's advocate with Cass because I know that there's going to be people out there that say, well, that would disagree, and say that, well, you don't know what you would do in that situation until you're in it.
Mhm.
But I can unequivocally say that you and I would both have that same response.
Yeah.
Not only because you would be sad for your child, but at the same time, you would want the Petito family to know the answers, right?
Yeah.
Dude, they're stuck in the dark. So yeah, and we'll get into all that. Okay, so then here's where the timeline kind of starts kicking into high gear. So the Petito family attorney shares this timeline. On August 24th, Petito FaceTimes with her mother and tells her she is leaving Utah and heading to the Teton Range in Wyoming. On the 25th, there are multiple texts between Petito and her mother. The young woman's family believes she is in Tetons on this date of the 25th.
Okay, so are these text messages again? Garrett knows a little more about this case than I do. He's studied it more, but on that particular date, August
We're all
25th.
good.
Okay, we're all good.
Yeah, we're all good.
Okay.
Right now. Yeah.
Okay.
On the 27th, there were more texts between Petito and her mother, during which her family believes she remains in the Tetons. On the 30th, her family receives that last text about no service in Yosemite.
Gotcha.
Also, in September, a woman publicly claimed that she and her boyfriend gave Laundrie a ride, and this is where it gets super weird.
Okay.
Laundrie a ride on August 29th in Wyoming. Okay, and so they received that weird text about no service in Yosemite on the 30th.
Mhm.
On the 29th, this woman and her boyfriend claim that in a series of videos posted on TikTok, Miranda Baker said she and her boyfriend picked up Laundrie and that evening while he was hitchhiking in Coulter Bay, Wyoming. Laundrie told them he had been camping at a site outside of Grand Teton National Park near the Snake River, she said. Once Laundrie found out Baker and her boyfriend were also going to Jackson Hole instead of Jackson, he got agitated, asked that the vehicle stop, and he got out near Jackson Dam, according to Baker. Baker said she spoke to law enforcement about the interaction, and that's been verified. Her account is very plausible, is what Northport Police spokesman Josh Taylor has said. And that video is a little wild, man.
Yeah.
That video is crazy. Hey, let's see really fast. There are a lot of people talking here. The sun's blowing up. Brandon rode back to his home.
Just you can touch whatever you want to put
Okay.
up there.
Let's
So
see,
that's
let's see what
fine.
Mona's saying real fast.
My theory, Brian never went back to his home. He called his parents and they met up somewhere and took the van and he fled. He was never in his parents' house.
That's interesting. Okay, cool. So I don't know. I don't think you saw this TikTok video. Very interesting. It's from the lady that actually picked him up. But a couple things that she said stood out to him is that right off the bat, he's hitchhiking and he says, "I'll give you $200 to get me to Jackson," which is only a 10-mile drive.
Now, when you say TikTok video, did she have video
like
of this?
No.
Oh, she's just a
talking on
okay,
TikTok. Yeah.
Gotcha.
So
I was getting ready to search it.
Yeah. No, so there's a video of her just kind of speaking about the encounter. Said it was really weird, right? Like, why would this guy give us $200 to drive him 10 miles? Bizarre, right? And so gets in, says he's been basically on an excursion, 2-day hiking excursion for 2 days. But yeah, he was clean. He did have some scruff, but he had somehow taken a shower.
Okay.
He had gone somewhere, cleaned his clothes.
Well, they were close to a river there.
Yep, so. And was wearing hiking boots.
Yep.
Which he was known to hike barefooted.
Why?
Dude, to be one with the earth.
That was just,
I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. It's just a natural response. Like, why the hell?
Bunch of damn hippies.
And so, so picks him up, says his fiance, calls her his fiance, which I noted here, Luis. I hope I'm saying that, Luis. Yeah. Actually that one.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay. That they actually had called off the engagement. So, but he says
that I did hear.
Yeah, he says that his fiance says, my fiance is back in the van that we're living in, and she's working on the website for this project we're working on.
Mm-hmm.
Blah blah blah.
And we talked about that.
Right, yeah, and they get into this trip, and then all of a sudden, they say, "Hey, we're going to Jackson Hole," and he freaks out, gets them to stop the van, bounces out.
Right.
Okay.
And that's where I think he was establishing an alibi that they
right,
saw
which
him.
was that's smart. I didn't.
Yeah, that he was leaving. You know, that he was leaving. He was going to a different
Right.
But I think in his mind, he's like, "Well, I got to get out of this because I got to get back to the van." So he gets out of the car. He hikes off somewhere where he doesn't look like to them he's going back. They drive off, and then he double backs and heads back.
See, that was really smart by you, because my initial thing was I felt like he was probably trying to leave everything there and somehow get back home without the van.
Yeah,
just leave it all there. Something bad happened in the van.
That
right?
Yeah, that would
but
be.
Then no, why would he bring up all the details
Right.
unless he was trying to establish an alibi?
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
Okay. So September 1st, Laundrie returns to the couple's Northport home where his parents also live, and this is according to the police. According to an affidavit attached to the search warrant request, the license plate reader shows the vehicle exited Interstate 75 into Northport at 10:26 a.m. Eastern time on the September 1st. The white vehicle Petito and Laundrie had been traveling in was later recovered by police at the home. It was processed, and there was some material in there that authorities will be going through. The spokesperson verified that.
Right.
On September 11th, after not being able to get in touch with her, Petito's family, who lives in New York, reports her missing to the Suffolk County Police Department. Northport authorities go to Laundrie's home that night and asked to speak with him and his family, but we were essentially handed the information to his attorney, the police spokesperson said. That is the extent of our conversation with him. So, dude, we're all of a sudden, they're expecting August 30th as the last day they've kind of communicated with her.
Right.
Now we're fast forwarding almost 12 days, and they just hand a card to the lawyer.
Yeah, that's
oh God, this is
boy. That doesn't show some guilt or responsibility,
God, But isn't that what?
At that point, it's like, come. I mean, this is what a quit with the circus and just stand up and do what's the right thing,
man. And honestly, I'm going to be very transparent.
Unless he lied to his parents and they believed him, and he's like, Mom, I swear to God, but I'm going to get in trouble. They're going to blame me.
Right. Okay. So this is where I'm going to, in full transparency, I'm going to say this. Okay. Is that while this was happening, obviously we were at like Disney World and like on this vacation, we were staying kind of up to date with it. But I was even telling Cass, that's probably what you would do, right? If you're in that situation, like that was my initial response is, okay, well, yeah, you would lawyer up because we've all seen the cop shows.
Oh yeah.
We've all seen this play out 1,000
times.
But
why hide?
I mean, I know.
But stay home.
I'm just trying to be fully transparent.
Right. Just let the lawyer represent you. You go to the jail. You answer the questions.
Yes.
And he flees.
But he didn't answer. Yeah. See, he did none.
And there's questions where did he even go home? Like someone just said, yeah. Did they meet him somewhere?
Right.
I mean, man, they could get in a whole lot of trouble for this.
Right.
But
God, did he go home?
Huh?
I didn't even.
There was questions whether he went home or not. I thought I saw a picture of him though walking in his house on internet.
We're gonna share a picture here pretty soon.
Oh God, that one, yeah.
Okay, so we're fast forward 12 days. All of a sudden, Gabby's missing, and here's our lawyer card from Brian. Let's talk about this. Yeah. Her flip flop right there.
Do you want to?
Talk about it really quick?
You want me to describe this? Okay, basically, this picture you guys are seeing these people. I think you talked about them a little bit earlier. They were taking video on their.
They're TikTokers.
They're TikTokers, so they're cruising
Moab.
Right, and they go past this van, which is, not very far from where they found the body.
And indescript at the time.
Yeah. And so what these arrows are pointing at, guys, is they know it's the same van because there's the hat. Now, this is the picture of a hat, from what I understand, is from the police survey, the video from the police.
Right.
So we got the hat matching. The circle on the gas tank, there's a little bit of rust and corrosion there. And if you look at their van, you see the same thing. Now, down here's the interesting thing. And it took me a long time to really look at this. And it looked like rocks to me still.
Right.
But they supposedly are Gabby's flip-flops. And if you kind of look at them, you can kind of, I see that.
Yeah.
So you can see where it goes back, the heel, and then it actually has a dip right there.
Right.
So, but you would think, did they, you know, when they went back, did they find those, or I mean,
Well, no.
well, even if they did, they wouldn't say anything. They're
Yeah,
not. They're not
yeah.
really. They're not going to release any evidence they find.
Let me
But
speculate and say that.
speculate.
Well, I believe that his initial idea was to get out of there.
Yeah.
But yet then he realized, yeah, I got to get back there, and this is not good.
Yeah.
The van has to go with me. Everything has to go with me.
Right.
I mean,
and
the sandals laying outside of the van.
So don't you think at some point he's still a little bit worried these people picked him up? It's like, shit, if they find her body, they know I'm at the scene, because it was the same place, right?
Same area. Yeah.
So so that was risky, man.
Really close. Well, dude,
even if you're trying to create a alibi and a narrative for yourself, that you can say, well, the people, they saw me. I was heading to Rogers, as well called Jackson.
Hole, yeah.
And
well, see, that's why I lean more towards that he wasn't trying to establish an alibi, but instead he was kind of freaking out and in survival mode.
Yeah,
he was in flight, right? He was like trying to get out of there and maybe had to circle back around.
I just popped this up. Louise Haraway, I've heard she was shot. Brian had a gun. There is a photo of Gabby, I think, holding the gun. She could have been dead for 3 weeks. Yeah, I kind of wondered about the gun myself. I knew that Brian had a gun. I didn't know if he had it in the possession of the trip. I know he had one at the house. Yeah, definitely. I would. Yeah, I carry my gun anyway.
I said I would.
My gun goes wherever I go.
I would.
But anyway, so that. Thank you, Louise. I was wondering if, but God, that would exactly tie you into the murder if you used your gun. I mean, it's been in the heat of the moment kind of thing,
right.
and
I don't think it's premeditated.
I don't either. Yeah. I don't either, because why would you spend all those months driving? You would have killed her, probably on the first leg of the thing, and you would have planned it out a little better.
Yeah, definitely.
Obviously, he didn't. But yeah, so I was wondering the same thing, if he had a gun with him. So, but the autopsy was done today. They did say it was a homicide. Of course, they're holding all that close to the vest. They're not going to talk about it. So if it's a gunshot.
I think this is a good point to bring this up, and this might be how they actually have said that these two cases aren't connected. I wanted to talk about the two female hikers that were killed and left in a creek, shot dead in Moab.
Okay.
Kaz wanted me to also mention that because it's kind of getting lost in the mix. They were partners, these two females, and they had reported that there was a creepy man walking around their tent, their campsite, to some friends for a couple nights and intimidating them, and then they were found dead. I think maybe the 30th. Cass, if you're out there, you can fact check that, please. But they were shot dead. A lot of people were like, man, are the two cases connected? Because one of the females had actually worked at the supermarket or the shop where they had been seen fighting outside.
Yeah.
They talked to higher ups at that shop, and all of them said that nobody had witnessed that.
From sources I heard, there's no connection.
Right. Yeah.
And
I'm kind of wondering, though, if they're able to determine that because of the casings, maybe, or you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, this would be a pretty fast case. I mean, the thing is, what we have to listen to, people, is does the police change him of person of interest to suspect?
Yeah. Have they done that yet? And if you guys know, like, put it in the chat.
Yeah.
Because this stuff's coming out like rapid fire.
So if he shot her, then they're going to start referring to Brian as suspect, not person of interest.
Right.
Person of interest is actually, if they found him right now, they can't handcuff him. They just,
right.
They, question him.
like Gabby's father was saying, though, like, he had her car, now a deceased female, had her car and drove across state lines for 35 hours. So there has to be something there where they'd be able to detain him, right? Like you would think. Yeah, I was going to.
That's interesting. Someone on the other, WIGO, Wigo, that's a cool name. I like it. Cool. Someone on another chat said Brian's mom is a DA in Florida. Oh, well, that changes things. Not sure if it's true, but if so, they probably know how to stay ahead of law enforcement. Yeah, that would be.
Dad's worth $5 million, man. Like, he's got the resources for sure.
Right, but do you gamble your
whole life,
beautiful life, to be involved with your son, murder?
See, and this is what I was. We were kind of spitballing on the way home. Our trip.
Her mom's gonna lose her damn license if they find out.
Their life is already like.
Yeah. But I'm just saying, if they find evidence that they were aiding and abetting,
right?
They're done.
Well, it changes everything now that they've ruled it a homicide, right? Like, it changes everything.
So what we got to do,
because initially, before that, you could have made the case like, okay, dude, what if the kid, still wrong, obviously on all accounts, before they hadn't even found the body, you could say, well, of course you don't want them to, but no, we have the body. We know it's a homicide.
Yep.
The kid is gone.
Yeah.
I say kid, and it's 23
Hey,
years old.
yeah, he's a kid.
Yeah, he's gone.
He's a child, man.
He's gone. Dad's worth $5 million, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so it takes a while to get phone records, as we know, because that's the first thing you would do. They also grew. I mean, they've lived by the ocean.
Yeah.
And that's what, I was saying to you, if it's premeditated, he would have bounced up north, right? Went out into the.
Yeah, and this kid's not a survivalist, for one thing.
He's a hiker.
He's a hiker.
Yeah.
So it's like, they're discussing right now, and I was thinking about that as well. He's been gone, what, 5 days?
Going longer.
Okay.
Yeah.
You can make sure you got a water source,
There's so much. And
Florida, again, dude. Swampy bacteria water, yes.
Yeah,
but you have to find, look, you got to find a spring or something that's got clean water, and you can't stay in one place for too long. You can't be carrying 10, even if you fill them up at springs, what are you going to carry 10? How long are you going to run from this thing?
And
because you're going to get caught.
Yeah, you will get caught.
You will get caught.
Yeah.
So
if you haven't already by an alligator or a panther,
right?
Or, and they would have found evidence of that. That's kind of where, like, why when Mona said he's out of the country, I'm fearful that he has been able to make that. I mean, dude, he was missing for such a significant amount of time.
I know.
And I would love to see the phone records between him and his parents on the way home.
Yeah, let me. There was something I was wanting to. Where's it at?
Dude, that's a good point right there.
Okay, yeah, Louise. The door at the back was ajar when these people drove by. It shuts as people are driving by. Brian would have taken the gun back home. Law enforcement have warrants. Search Brian's home. Parents went outside. So, do you want to show them the video where we see the door closing and open?
Yeah.
Okay, so guys, I'm going to show you a quick video. Now, this came from Gray Hughes' channel, so I'm giving him all the credit. The guy does amazing work with maps and video. He's one of the best.
And Mona, to your point, do I think it's possible, or do we think it's possible if he killed himself? I personally think that they would have found him by now if he wasn't moving.
Right. So let me see. God, I haven't this new program. I haven't shared anything in a while. So
okay. Go for it, dude.
Let's see. There's one thing where you have to make sure you click on the audio, because if you don't, it won't work. So we'll just see if this works. We want to go
really like if the audio doesn't work, we can
Chrome tabs. Let's see, where is it here? Is here Petro? I think that's it. Let's see. Yeah, this is it. Okay, so guys, put in the chat. Garrett's gonna watch. See if you can see this video. Again, this is from Gray Hughes' channel. Gray Hughes Investigates. Like I said, the guy does amazing work with video, maps, everything. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to play you this. Now, this is in 4K, and that's why he was able to lock in on this. He was, he had heard this rumor about, as these people were driving, that the back door was open. It opened a little wider and shut, and he was very skeptical about that because, there's artifacts in video, shadows, trees, that kind of thing. Right. I watched him live when he did it, and I could hear his voice go, wait a minute, let's go back and look at that again. And he did several times, and it surely looks like the door was open and it shuts. Again, this is 4K, very clear. So I'm going to play this for you right now. So everybody just watch this.
So now I'm zooming in. It's going to be right around this corner over there. There we go. Right
okay,
there.
you can see the black.
Look at that.
Right there?
Look at that right there.
Now watch.
Yeah, that, I think that's 100%.
Can you make that full screen?
I can try.
Okay, push that.
Hopefully I won't screw this up. Hey, let me go back and we'll see if we can make this full screen for you guys. I don't want to go too, let's see. Okay, did that change? We have like the 20-second delay. Garrett has to look on his phone and see.
Yep, there you go.
Okay, so I'm going to play this again and watch this. This is very interesting. This shows someone was in the back of that van.
So now I'm zooming in. It's going to be right around this corner over there. There we go.
And watch for his red little
Look at that.
cursor.
Look at that right there.
Look, now watch.
Yeah, that,
Wanna do it one
I think
more
that's
time?
100%.
Jeez,
We're gonna.
dude.
I'm gonna take a look really quick at the.
You know, actually,
if the
it's
doors.
okay. Find a spot on.
So this is a lot clearer. Sort of a like
Look
a
at that. Yeah.
Yeah, he's going slow, and you can see right there.
malfunction with the decoder. Yeah, it's definitely.
That door's open.
That's a good shot. Good.
Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and stop
And
it
you know,
there.
it even goes. It goes a little further.
Yeah, so a little weird there, huh?
Really strange.
Yeah. So now I got to figure out how to get this off the screen. Ta-da!
There we go. Well
Okay,
done.
yeah. So thank you, Gray Hughes, for that. I didn't ask his permission, so I hope he's not mad at me. But I did give his credit where
you
credit's
gave
due.
credit
It
where
was
credit's
he did
due.
a great job, and he knows his stuff about artifacts, coding, that kind of thing. And so if Gray says it's open, then more than likely it's opened.
Right. No, absolutely.
So what did you guys think about that? That's pretty.
I mean, what do you think was happening in there?
That is the $1 million question. He was shutting. Who knows? He could have been hiding. Had her body in the back of there. Maybe he killed her in
Yeah.
a van. Maybe moved her. Maybe
I
they
think he
walked.
did.
I don't know. Let's look at that map that shows how far it is from. It's about 300 yards
Yeah.
from, and that's a long way to carry a dead body.
Yeah, for sure.
So I think possibly he may have already killed her. He was inside cleaning up stuff,
Yeah.
or maybe changing his clothes
Yeah.
or whatever, getting rid of that
My
stuff.
God, dude.
So it
This is-
shows, yeah. So that was a good catch by Gray on that there was that somebody was in the back of the van. I mean, there just is, right?
There's somebody in that van.
Oh yeah, there was someone, but I bet you $1 bazillion it was just Brian and not her.
Yeah.
Oh, that's wrong. Okay. I gotta go comment part, hide that.
There you go.
Well, no, it didn't do.
Oh.
There we go. Okay, so if you look on the screen, the bottom part, you see the blue. It says Gabby's van spotted right there.
Yep.
And then the body was found about right here. And I think Gray had measured that. I think it was or someone had measured it. I thought it was about 300 yards. Which like I said, I would think that they must have been hiking together. Then the altercation took place there.
Right.
And he left her there, walked back to the van, is what I'm guessing. And
Jeez,
they've also I do have a picture of where they found her body. They've already cleared it. So let me find that.
right down, right there. Oh,
Yep. Is it?
Yep.
Okay. So right here. So if you see where that cross is, someone had put that cross that's the location where, and this is from Fox News, so we know it's correct.
Yeah.
For you right, huh?
Crosses.
No. What it is they're showing a comparison.
Oh, there's 4. Okay.
So basically what they're showing, if you look on the left, that shows a sideways shot of it where you can see the cross right here.
See the creek.
Yeah, so that's supposedly where her body was, right there by the creek, and then there's a close up of where the body would have been.
It's definitely more like she was killed and then left there.
Yeah.
That's not a place you would hide the body.
Yeah.
And I mean, we don't know though. Was it in a shallow grave? Still wouldn't be a.
Yeah.
Well, in the Tetons, I mean, it's in the Tetons,
people when they freak out, and I've done metal detecting around rivers and things like that. It's full of pebbles. It's full of rock. You wouldn't have time to dug right there.
Right.
I think he just left her there. He may have covered her with leaves. That's what most people do. And, I mean, it's just, he knew they were going to find her, I would think.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, yeah.
Well, that was my huge fear in the beginning, was that they wouldn't.
Yeah.
Because it is just vast open territory.
Right. So if any of you guys see this dude around here, which reminds me, Greg said, which he lives in Venice.
Right. I wasn't going to say it until you did.
Well, he put it up there.
Yeah.
So he put up there in Venice. Well, it doesn't matter. Right. But anyway, they're supposedly looking for him in Venice.
Yeah.
Right. So that's kind of one of those little retirement towns.
Yep.
But again, with this much media attention, you couldn't hide.
Right.
There's not really anywhere he can go except for the mountains. and he's only going to have so much food. He's only going to have so much water.
That's why I'm
Like you said, that maybe, who knows, his father could have flew him out of the country. It's possible, but then would you, again, we talked about that already. Would you do that to, your wife's a DA, you're a millionaire, multimillionaire, you got this wonderful life.
You have other kids,
wonderful life.
grandkids.
Do you sacrifice all that? I mean, because once you cross that line,
It's no
you're
turning
done.
back.
She'll lose her practicing
They'll
licenses,
go to prison.
and she'll go to prison. Yeah, and so will he.
Yeah.
So it's hard for me to wrap my mind around that they had anything
dude.
I just, I mean, they had to have known, because they're not talking.
What's wild is like it had been reported that like the mom loved her like a daughter, to the point where like she even like knitted her some great Christmas gifts like last Christmas, and she lived at their house. It's just so baffling to me.
You'd be
I can't wrap my head around
I mean, I would be so angry at any of my kids, especially you get an emotional attachment to that person.
Oh my God, dude.
It's like you
like I returned home from our vacation without Cass.
Like,
what the hell? My parents
well,
would be like,
but you'd be my son-in-law, so but
no, I know, but you get my point though.
I totally, exactly.
Like
it's
my parents. Can you imagine my parents?
Yeah. If you went,
they would.
So that's the thing. So put yourself, okay,
my dad would beat the shit out
you
of
go to your mom and dad, and Cassie's missing.
Yeah.
And what do so it's like, and your mom and dad, I mean, they're not gonna
stand up people, man. They call our cop friends initially.
Yeah.
What do we do? And the cop friends just say, you got to turn yourself in. You got to go talk. We got to find this girl.
The best thing, son, is we're going to tell the truth.
We have to.
Whether if you killed her, then you got to face what you did. If it's an accident, tell them.
Right.
You freaked out. You left. I mean, that's probably
like,
going to be
5 days to run.
Right. I wouldn't.
I mean, that's what they did.
Yeah. These exactly is what they did.
Yeah.
So
here's the thing. I was telling Cass how difficult it would be to get him. I mean, you would have to be planning this thing out on the way home. Mom and Dad, this happened. I think Mona alluded to that earlier. So that, like, I think Mona even said they knew what was coming. Like when he got home, they knew.
Yep.
And so, but dude, phone records, financial records. Like, did they take out a large sum of money?
Right.
Like, this thing isn't going to be for free. Some dude's not going to be like, oh yeah, let me fly your son out. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, let me do you a favor, buddy. I've been your friend forever, and I'm a pilot. No, that's not going to happen.
No.
And
I mean,
if it does, that's even more bizarre.
There's a bolo. I mean, there's probably a nationwide bolo for this guy, right?
Yeah. Oh,
so
dude, for sure.
I mean, and especially airports are going to be on their toes.
Yeah, but we know drugs in and out of people.
Before he was a suspect or even person of interest,
right?
Because and we talked about this too. Is like, why in the hell did the cops not put surveillance on him as soon as he lawyered up and he wouldn't talk?
If they had never actually had eyes on him, then they couldn't have put eyes on him, right? Like like you were saying earlier.
Right. So do we know he even went home?
That's my question.
Yeah.
That's what I want to know.
Yeah. Does anybody know that for a positive fact?
That he was at home?
Because I thought I saw a picture. Again, I was scanning the net, and it could have been a picture of him from 2 years ago walking in his house. But there's a picture of him outside in front of the house. Was this current? Do we know for sure this guy?
How about you pull up the picture that somebody reported seeing 2 blocks away?
Oh yeah, I'll pull that up. That's
these are like, this is while there's protesters outside his house.
So he had to went out the back door.
Well, his neighbor claims that he had seen him leave out the back door with a backpack and dark clothing on.
Right. That's him.
I'm
sorry, that's him.
But like you said, is this him from? I mean, it doesn't look like he's trying to escape. He's got his earbuds in,
and that's the problem with the internet right now.
Right.
Is you can do so many things, Photoshop stuff too. But I mean, like you said, this could have been a picture of him a couple of years ago. I don't know. It looks like he's got some kind of a compression band or something there. Do you notice that on his elbow?
Yeah.
Something going. It looks like an elbow splint, kind of almost. But if that's recent, but also if
they claimed that this was like a couple of days after, or a day after he had been missing.
Yeah. So we see no backpack. We see no supplies.
Right.
So that would make more sense for your theory of him getting the hell out of the country.
But dude, you would look different, man. The thing is, like, you wouldn't just walk around like that, would you? Dude, if you've gone this
what?
hard,
How much? Okay.
if your parents were like, I'm going to protect
No,
you.
yeah, I know.
They're like, you're not going outside like that. Put a wig on her, right?
Yeah,
like,
put a hat. Put a hat on.
Yeah.
Yeah. So behind his house, what is there? Is there
It's
woods?
wooded
Okay,
area.
so he's not in a neighborhood per se.
Man, see, my initial thing was like, good, is he still in the neighborhood? Like, wouldn't that be wild?
Yeah, could be in
A friend's
right? house that lives close by. But man, I'm sure the police have went up and down
and
that
again,
place,
you
and
go,
to know who his friends are, where they live,
and you go back to the point where like, okay, so now your friends are hiding you. Yeah, right.
Yeah,
don't want to, right? Like,
right.
I don't know. Hey, will you go to the trail cam, which I think
I will.
Up, right there. Yep, perfect.
Yeah.
Okay, and I just thought this was interesting. Obviously, you guys can read what it says.
It's a guy named Sam Bass posted that today, I believe.
Creepy.
Says, I'm not saying this is the guy, but whoever was on my trail camera this morning in Baker, Florida, strongly fits the description of Brian Laundrie. Authorities have been contacted, but people in Northwest Florida area be on the lookout.
Right.
Yeah.
And like you say, and you were like, I zoomed in and looked a little bit older. And kind of my retort was like, if you've been on the lam trying to survive in the swamps of Florida for 5 days, you might look.
Yeah, I blew that picture up.
Again.
The guy, and I'm not saying it's not him, but I'm just saying that this guy, if you guys find his picture, blow it up. He looks like an older guy to me.
Yeah.
And then there was also a rumor. Is this? I don't want to say this unless it's true, but I thought someone said that they actually traced this guy down. He was a homeless man, and he was dead.
No way.
Yeah, that's what it said.
Oh my.
Yeah.
Well, that would be interesting.
That he ended up. This guy was a homeless man who was found dead. Again, that's not confirmed. That was, again,
right. Yeah.
The internet.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So,
well, that Carlton Reserve is, I believe, where they found his car, which is in Venice, and it has 80 miles of hiking trails.
Yeah.
And somebody earlier, maybe Louise, somebody actually had mentioned, they thought it may have been Susie. I can't remember.
I'm on Team Mona there.
Okay. Yeah.
And then also, I agree with her too. Older and more chunky. This guy did look heavier. I mean, Brian looked like a meth head, or I shouldn't say that, but because he we don't know he's guilty.
Yeah.
But he was very, very skinny.
Yeah.
Right. Was. So.
But what she was saying earlier was that they found the car at this place, and that they felt like that was a ruse. That was a way to buy more time.
Oh, you're talking about the Mustang?
Yeah.
That was in the driveway.
Right.
So it made it look, because that was Brian's car.
Right.
Gabby on the. So as soon as the van came back, did the police seize that?
Yes, I believe so.
Okay. So then Brian's Mustang's there, which would have been there when he's gone anyway.
Right.
So they just assumed he was in the house because his Mustang was there?
Oh, no. Hang on 1 second. Because, and Cass, if you're out there, tell me if I'm wrong. I believe they found his car at the Carlton Reserve.
Okay.
Like he had left. And parked it there and went out on 80 miles of hiking trails.
Okay. So,
but they've shifted now. They're not searching that area anymore.
Right.
Like as if they know something.
Yeah. Before we did this podcast, they also just let you guys know, they said they were narrowing in on a certain location. I don't know if that means a body has been found or what it was, but that was coming from a reliable news source.
Right.
I don't know if they're any reliable, but I mean, but it wasn't just coming from a rumor. They said they're narrowing in on a certain place. I thought it was interesting. You showed me those huge trucks that they got looking for that guy.
Yeah.
And then the governor of Florida, he added a whole bunch of people, did he not? I mean, from what I understand, DeSantis, is that his name?
Yeah. At this time, whenever like on the 18th of September, so what's today? 21st. So 3 days ago, when they're at that Carlton Reserve, there were over 50 officers from 5 different agencies, including the FBI, looking for this guy inside that place. So again, you talk about 2 days.
Yeah.
1-2 days they've been in that place for naught.
Yeah.
And he could be somewhere else, right?
Right.
So then on let's see here really fast. Okay, conducting surveys. Okay. So on the 19th, human remains found in Wyoming. consistent with the description.
Okay.
Full forensic identification has not been completed at that time.
It has now.
On the 20th, the parents of Brian Laundrie are questioned at the home by the FBI. Christopher and Roberta Laundrie are escorted from the home, and they execute a search warrant.
Right.
And
they had them waiting. Did they not? They
car.
pulled them out of
right.
and they had them in the car.
Right.
And they went all through that house.
And the police say that they have exhausted all search avenues at the nature reserve, and the search. You're good. The search has shifted. And then obviously today, the Teton coroner confirms the human remains found were that of Petito, and the cause of death remains pending the final autopsy results, which we should be.
Yeah, well, I mean, and they, like I said,
they
probably not going to release that. But like I said, guys, what you start listening to the language law enforcement starts using. If it goes person of interest, then it's still kind of up in the air. If they say suspect, then they probably got evidence that he did murder her.
Right.
And like if that last Louise, I think, said he had a gun, God, at that point, man, dude, just turn yourself in. If you're stupid enough to shoot her with your own gun, say he had a 9mm and there's 9mm bullets, even if he ditched the gun, that's pretty good circumstantial evidence to say
definitely
that, and you've disappeared. And I mean, he's ruined it. His life. Yeah, he's done.
Yeah.
He needs to, my first thought, and I'm still not convinced this didn't happen, is he went out somewhere and shot himself.
Yeah.
I mean, what are you going to,
that's what Mona was saying. But my thing with that is, wouldn't they have found him by now though? Or like,
oh, dude, I mean, no, you're talking about, it's like a needle in a haystack.
Yeah,
I mean, and the thing is,
we're tracking him.
Know
dogs,
exactly where he's at.
Right. But
and that's another good thing. The dogs did we know, did the dogs pick up a scent? Did they start following through a trail?
Yeah.
We don't know. Because and if so, where did the trail, where did the trail end for the dogs?
That's the thing though, is like if he did commit suicide, I feel like they're so good. Those dogs, those canines tracking people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Through that dense vegetation.
Mm-hmm.
And you feel like there would be track marks. He wouldn't care at that point. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he would be thinking like, oh, I want to kill myself where nobody will find me. And he's going to kill himself.
Yeah.
So I do lean more towards the fact that he may have gotten taken away from the country.
He was apprehended?
No. I hope he does get apprehended, man.
No, he will.
Yeah.
He will. Yeah, I mean, it's like someone said before, the world's looking for this guy. He'll be found. Mona said that earlier.
Yeah.
And that's what's going to happen with this guy for sure.
Hopefully by tonight.
Yeah, and that's the funny thing. Well, it's not funny, but Garrett and I was talking earlier. It's like, this case might get solved before we go on air.
Yeah. Well, that's what kept happening.
I really thought this morning they were going to say, "Hey, we found his body, or we've got him in custody," which we still could talk about that, of course,
right,
because we don't know what the motive is. I mean, I think we can pretty much figure out that we don't think it wasn't first degree, it wasn't premeditated. Yeah. I think they got into a violent argument, I guess, and
it's been simmering.
Yeah, and he just lost it.
Well, I was telling you earlier that like,
what about an accident? Is that possible? But then we talked about that too. But again,
homicide, man.
Homicide. It's absolutely, yeah, that's right. That's right. My bad.
No, you're good. Because that was my first thought too. Is like, okay, well, what if your kid comes home and is an accident? We know the criminal justice system is imperfect in a lot of ways.
Oh,
right.
Yeah.
And so, but I was talking to you earlier about her friend Rose, who did an interview with Daily Mail, which I know Daily Mail's kind of shit, whatever. But I saw the interview. I've seen the interview with her. But I was telling you the story about how she said that her and Gabby found each other on this app called Bumblebee BFF. If you guys know what that is, it's a way to find friends, to connect with people in the area. But from what Rose could tell is that Laundrie was really loving towards Gabby and really cared about her, but was oddly protective of her. Didn't want her having other friends, and in fact eventually stepped in the way of Rose and Gabby hanging out. Even went as far to, when Gabby and Rose were going to a club, kept her ID, Gabby's ID, so that she couldn't get into the club.
Wow.
Which is that's possessive personality.
That is. And do we know that for fact?
That's what Rose is saying.
So we have hearsay.
Right. It is hearsay. But it's the closest we have to somebody that was like a supposedly a friend of hers.
Right.
And there are pictures of them together.
Well, this morning, I think I told you this morning when I woke up before I went to work, I started hearing all these allegations about her girlfriend saying this guy was a creep.
Mhm.
He was not a good guy.
Stay away.
Even went as far as calling him a criminal. So I don't know. I don't know if this guy has a criminal background or not. I don't know that they mentioned that or not.
Yeah.
That'd be kind of interesting.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, so but again, like you said, everything is moving so fast. It's hard to go, okay, do I believe that? Is that true? Was that vetted? Was that person vetted?
Right.
Because after, I listened to it all day at work today, which I probably shouldn't be doing.
Yeah.
But, and I didn't hear one word about, I think it'd be pretty important if close friends of Gabby came forward and said, hey, he was evil. We didn't like him. He was creepy.
Right.
He hit her before,
Right.
that kind of thing. But I heard none of that.
Me
so
either.
I don't know where those allegations came from.
Right.
But they were,
and it's going to happen.
Yeah.
Well,
Well, yeah.
In this. Well, that's what I was.
There's a lot of stuff to sift through, man.
That's what I was going to ask you is like, and I mean, I always say this because guys, we come over here early. We talk about everything in advance. Obviously, we're talking about it leading up.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, domestic violence is a huge part of society. Like, what is it that made this thing take off? Like, kind of like the Lacey Peterson case. It's like.
Yeah, there was different motives for that though, because didn't he have like a girl on the side? The same thing like Barry Morphew found out that his wife, I think was, and I don't know a lot about the Barry Morphew case, guys, but I think he found that his wife was cheating on him. But then I've heard he was, he had that girlfriend, right?
Right.
From what I understand. So you got those motives, but with this, we don't have a whole lot of personal information on either one of them.
Yeah, well, we know from I think this came from, and I might be wrong on this, from his sister, but that they actually had decided together that they were no longer going to be engaged. They were too young to get married, and that they were just going to be boyfriend and girlfriend.
Right.
And see
that
how
I
it played
did hear,
out.
and I heard that from a reputable news source.
Right, and so. To me, that's motive. If taking into account other things that we've heard about him, right?
Yeah, but you gotta be batshit crazy. I mean, you know what I mean? Still
possessive and
what's this guy? I mean, I would be interested. What's this guy's history? I mean, do we have any mental illness at all? Did this guy do any crazy stuff before he met her?
Right.
Did anybody see any signs, or did he just all of a sudden decide to kill her?
We'll get a toxicology report, right? Eventually.
I'm sure they will. I mean, that's another thing that was discussed. I heard that was one of the motives floating around, that she overdosed.
Really?
Was one.
What?
Yeah.
That.
Again, this is all speculation. I think these are just people like us trying to figure out what the hell happened. But that was one of the ideas someone had, that possibly she overdosed. He freaked out. But now we know it's a homicide, so we know this was, either gunshot, strangulation, blunt force trauma.
Right. It wasn't just getting pushed down a hill.
It wasn't getting pushed down a hill. It wasn't falling down a hill. It wasn't an OD. I mean, because an OD, you're not going to call it a homicide.
No, not
at all. So that kind of kills that. So
especially in a case like this, you're not going to get anywhere near that word.
Yeah.
Unless right?
Oh yeah. Yeah. So it's crazy. This whole thing, and everything's, like I said, moving so fast. And what's frustrating though is, like I said, even though they've done the autopsy, we're not going to hear how she was killed yet.
Right. Not until there's a conclusion.
It's like every case we've, the Delphi case, the little girls in what was it?
Oh yeah,
Evansdale.
Right.
They never gave a cause of death.
Can't
do it because they need to know if there's only things they know that the killer knows.
Right.
So, and that's like, I mean, it seems like I remember back in the day in the 70s when they said, yeah, she was stabbed,
Yeah.
It's like they told you exactly how the person died. They never kept that close to the vest. But I think what happened is, you had so many false confessions, but you had these, mentally ill people saying, oh, I did it.
Yeah.
And then they're like, oh crap, well, he read that in the paper,
Yeah,
so
definitely.
But yeah, they used to tell, all the time, 80s and 90s, how they died, and were they shot, were they strangled, were they stabbed, were they hit over the head, and we don't have that. So it's harder now to try to come up with.
I thought it was so fascinating that you already had those pictures of where people had put crosses where they died, because I feel like that would be quarantined off.
They usually work. They're not going to work a crime scene for probably 5 to 7 days.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think I've heard one detective say they'll comb it for, 2 or 3 days,
Right.
something like that, just completely going over that area. And I'm sure that's due to time restrictions, employment
Weather.
weather.
Yeah.
And then they have a budget, as
Right.
bad
Yeah.
as that sounds,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
like they don't
definitely.
like doing a lot of overtime for the
Right,
city,
definitely.
right?
Yeah.
So I think they probably 3 days and someone got wind to where it was
Right.
and they found the area and they put that little tribute to her with a cross.
Man.
So yeah, I gotta admit, I was a little skeptical when I saw the picture at first. And I was like,
Yeah.
I don't know about this, but uh, only I think they just said 3 days, something like that,
Yeah, yeah.
is what I hear.
Okay.
And again, I'm not a detective, I'm not in law enforcement, but I think I heard a detective say that on a show one time that usually they spend 2, 3 days, something like that. They don't usually go into 5, 6, 7 days
Yeah.
of combing the area. They're going to come around that area, and if you think about it, if you got enough people out there combing that area,
You don't need-
you could probably do it in 24 hours.
Yeah. Well, they got the system down for
Right.
sure.
Right. So I think, and plus the picture came from it was a reliable news source. So in fact, they're the ones that released the picture,
Right.
with
Yeah,
someone
yeah.
that put the cross.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, so if any of you guys came late, I'll show you that picture. Let's see, there's it right there. Yeah. So let me get rid of, hang on, let me come up here to comments for a minute. It's funny because I forget I put them up there and I have to go find them. Okay. So we'll hide it. So if you guys see on the left, if some of you guys came in late, this is the spot where they found Gabby's body, close to the river. And that cross symbolized that. So on the left, it's basically just showing kind of a wide shot. So you see the river. And then there's on the right side, of course, a close-up shot of the cross. So
What a weird place.
yeah, that came out
Isn't
pretty.
it?
Yeah,
I mean, out
it
of
is.
the entire national park.
Yeah, and not only that, a lot of people visit these parks, and you never know who's
know.
out there.
I know.
I mean, obviously, that those people are driving down the road, he's shutting the door.
Yeah.
So it's not like you're in isolation
It's a
at these
nomadic
places.
lifestyle.
So that kind of, let's talk about that a little bit. The gun. Okay, do we fire a gun in a national park, make that noise?
Right.
I
I
don't
said
think
earlier,
so.
Somebody said earlier in the chat that there had been people that said they heard gunshots
Oh,
in the park. I think Louise said that.
okay. Well,
Somebody
that's
said it
okay.
earlier.
Well, there you go. But I was going to say, if that wasn't the case, look around there. Look at all these
Rocks.
big
I
rocks,
know.
right?
That's exactly what I was
You
thinking.
could just take one of those rocks and bash her
Boom.
over the head while she's not looking or whatever. There you go. Knock her unconscious. You didn't make a noise. But yeah, I hadn't heard that someone had
Somebody
reported
just
hearing
earlier
shots.
in the chat.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I did not know that.
Oof.
But anyway, I'm trying to see if we got any other pictures. Man, my allergies are killing me today. Killing me.
Lipshot, I was just gonna agree with you too.
What's that?
Lipshot said, sadly, this stuff happens a lot, and we just and we only hear about it when it's a young, pretty woman. That's where I was getting to the point earlier. I actually told you.
Where?
Yeah. Is that this happens a lot.
Yeah.
A lot more than, and that's why I was asking, what is it about that? Is it because she was young and pretty, or is it because she was so prevalent on social media and all of a sudden TikTok started taking off on it? And Instagram,
I think it's the weirdness of it all.
Yeah.
If let's say he came back and he admitted it, this probably would have barely made news.
Right. Yeah.
She would have been arrested, done. But because of, he comes back, does his Fifth Amendment to not talk immediately.
Well, not immediately, not until they figured out he was back.
Right. But I mean, come on.
Say, hey guys, I'm back. By the way,
for the news, this is a great story. You got some guy who went on vacation on this road trip with his girlfriend. All of a sudden, he comes back and she's not there, and they ask where she's at, and he goes,
Well, it's like the song you were playing before, the entertainment.
Yeah, that's entertainment.
By
the Jam. Yeah, listen to that if you guys ever get a chance. It's pretty much true. It's horrible, but yeah. So that's unfortunately, how it goes is because. But I think it's not so much that she was a pretty girl and all that, and she was, but I think it's because of this is a strange case.
Well, and there was some weird stuff happening. I know one thing that Cass was really into was combing through the Instagram profiles of both of them, and I had told you.
Oh
it
wow,
looked
she
like,
did do that, huh?
yeah, big time, yeah.
Yeah.
And it looked like some of like the posts had been edited, which it tells you like on Instagram when you go edit a post, this has been edited.
Yeah.
And so almost like he was still kind of running her Instagram for a couple days,
Right.
to try to buy himself some more time.
Let's see. I'm didn't even read these. I'm just popping them up there. What
Yeah,
the
that's
hell,
fine.
right?
Yeah, this is
So Brennan says 11 Clarksville down the bottom by Kentucky, and it's just sad. I hope they find justice for Libby and Abby and Gabby. So sad for all the families. Yeah, it is. It's a shame, and it seems like to me now. It's like I said, I'm a little bit older guy. Seems like the old, and I'm not saying anything bad about the detectives and everything like
Yeah.
that, but it's like, man, it seemed like the guys in the 70s and 80s, boom, they solved these cases fast,
right.
and not even have the technology which we have now. But I mean, but I'm not saying anything bad about law enforcement whatsoever. It's just that, you
What do
know,
you think?
Abby and Libby, come on, we're going to be 5 years next
Yeah.
February.
Oh,
We've got a freaking video of this guy walking across the
Yeah.
bridge, and we got audio, and we can't find him.
yeah,
Really?
yeah,
You know, I heard, you know, some detectives I've talked to said we would have not killed. That's a bad word.
yeah.
We would have loved to have something where we had video of the guy, audio of the guy, because he said we would have nailed it. You know?
Yeah.
So,
But this goes to show you the more time you spend away from the case, the harder it gets.
well, it's like you watch the first 48
I love
hours. Yeah, I mean, and the same thing. I mean, they say, you know, in the
Cuts
first
in
48
half.
hours, if you don't start solving this thing, it can turn into a cold case real fast.
Cuts in half.
We're seeing that with Summer Wells. We, you know, like I talked at the beginning about Summer Wells case. You know, they've had this phone information, right?
Yeah.
So obviously there wasn't anything too terribly incriminating, because if they admitted it, they'd have enough there to make an arrest. Although I could see them saying, well, let's build a case. Well, your other case would be the cell phone's pinging on, was Don where he said he was, you know, and they obviously had that information, but again, no arrest.
Yeah, but let's put this hypothetically. What if she would have been traveling by herself and just happened to meet this Brian Laundrie guy at the Moondog Saloon or whatever in Moab, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there was no record.
Yeah.
And he committed this crime. Then it would have been another one of those cases, you know, thank God they were together and we know that he was with her, but this could have fallen into that category for sure.
Yeah.
Of an unknown, right?
Right. And Greg just sent me an interesting text. He said, he goes, if he'd been dead in the area they're looking, he said a lot of times what searchers will do is they'll watch for buzzards up ahead.
Oh, smart. Right.
And so that's a good point, Greg.
Yeah, definitely, dude.
That's a very good point. I didn't think about that. So the guy, I mean,
Greg, you're so smart.
Like, dude, I mean, I know he's probably not watching our channel, but give it up. It's over. I mean, what are you going to do? You run for the rest of your life? You're going to get caught eventually. Just man up, tell the truth. What happened? You lost it. You couldn't control yourself, whatever.
Go do your time.
But yeah. But you know,
have some respect.
Oh, and you know, the other thing
for the family, my God,
I know.
Dude.
The interesting thing too, is I just heard today that the family, his family, right? Okay, Gabby's family had been calling them.
Texting
they will not respond to him, and I'm sure that's their attorney saying, you cut off all communication at this point.
Yeah.
But at the same time, man, I'm sorry.
Could you?
No, first I wouldn't have lawyered up. I would have turned my kid in. Okay.
Dude, can you imagine seeing those phone calls come through and those text messages to your phone though?
No.
And living with yourself?
Yeah, how do you do that? You know, man, I don't know. I'm flabbergasted at the parents of this kid.
I am too.
Reaction. I'm totally
like I said, I was trying to be fully transparent early
I was
on.
too, but I'm disgusted with it because it's like,
no, we know.
you know, it was a homicide. Okay, we know that you were with her, you show up without her.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't take a rocket science to figure out
well,
you had something to do with it.
It's a homicide. So at least
Oh, and I heard somebody say, what was it, 2 days ago? Maybe he witnessed her being murdered and he got scared. No. And I'm like, no, you go to the police immediately.
Right.
This is the woman you love. You took her on this trip with you because you're in love. And you
Ask her to
someone
marry you. You live together.
right, you obviously get along.
Yeah.
I mean, you called off their engagement, but that's
That's okay.
hey, that happens every
Yeah.
day.
Actually, I told Cass, I was like, that's honestly sounds responsible.
Yeah, yeah. I
You
mean,
know what I
it's good. Yeah, if you got to make sure that's the right one. But even so, you can still be good friends and
Yeah.
do your little travel like they're doing.
But I
But
think it's important to note that because that's another bizarre thing about this case is it seems so out of left field until you start kind of putting the pieces together and looking at the timeline and
Yeah.
everything like that.
yeah, this is again, man. It's like we keep studying these most bizarre. We think, okay, it can't get crazier than this, right?
Right.
And then along comes this case,
Ugh.
and we're not only this guy's probably did the deed, but his parents are
Oh
hiding
my
him.
God. And I think that they've kind of I wouldn't say shunned his sister, but she's kind of like being more forthcoming.
What is the sister saying exactly?
Well, I think that
do you know?
they're not talking to her. The family's not talking to her.
Okay, but is she talking to media?
Well,
Or
she has
anything?
nothing to say. I mean, she doesn't
Well,
know.
she
it.
could-
Yeah, but she said
does
she's
she
feeling
know-
Really, yeah.
Does she know
no.
Brian
Oh yeah.
enough to come on and say, hey, this is highly not like him?
Yeah, she did. She said, they have had their arguments. They would fight, but we loved her like a sister.
Right.
Like, and I don't know why this is happening. I haven't talked to my family, right?
Yeah.
They're not talking to anybody.
Yeah. Man, I just can't. They ruined their life. Their life's over.
Yeah, a lot of lives.
A lot of lives. Yeah, yeah. Everybody close to her. Everybody. I mean, there's a people understand how it's a ripple effect.
It is.
Best friends, cousins, uncle, everything. Everybody is
Oh my
now
God, dude.
suffering.
And like she was saying, I guess his sister has. So she said my kids looked at her like an aunt.
Yeah.
And now their uncle and their aunt. It's the grandparents. I mean.
It's unreal, man. Like I said, just parents, get this over with. Just go to the police, tell them what you know. It's the right thing it's the right thing to do. If your son was involved in a murder, don't cover for him.
How do you
how do you sleep at night?
That's what I was gonna say. Like, can you imagine being in that house with Pamela
and just
and sitting in that room over there and being like, we're in some like deep shit.
Well, I would,
our kids fucking gone. Like, at what point? That's what I'm asking though. Is like, what's the threshold that you're like, okay, let's end this?
Yeah, here's what's probably going to happen. They're in deep,
so deep. Dude.
So they know more than likely they're going to play this off. In fact, they're supposed to have been in a press conference with the attorney today. It got canceled.
Okay.
They're in deep. They know it, so they're probably going to try to string this thing out as long as they can before they get indicted.
Right. Yeah.
And that's what's going to happen. They're going to get indicted. And not only, he's going to go to prison, they're going to do some time for obstructing justice and abetting it. And it's not looking good for these folks.
There's going to be a weird ending to this, I feel like, with this guy.
Yeah, but for God's sakes, get it over with. Go do the right thing and talk, and tell law enforcement what happened. I mean, eventually that day is going to come when they knock on your door and put cuffs on you.
Yep.
When they will have the evidence. They'll find it.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I mean, with her cause of death, they may have it already.
Yeah.
If it's a gunshot when she was that stupid to use his gun, you're a done deal.
Too crazy. Just lost it. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, and that's something else people start
Passion.
looking for. Look for arrest of the parents pretty quick.
Yep.
Because if this is, if they can prove they were, lying.
Yeah.
Which obviously,
yeah,
they know where he's at.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Definitely. Or they know where he went.
They know where he went. They may not know where he's at.
Yeah.
But they know which direction he went.
Yeah.
And they know,
definitely.
I'm sure they know what he did, because if he was innocent, we wouldn't be here.
Right. Absolutely.
This is a freaking crazy mess.
It's a nightmare.
That you would think these educated people, an attorney is an educated person. Yeah. I don't know what his dad does, must own a business or something, but these are smart people.
Yeah.
How did they get so damn stupid?
I don't know. That's what I'm trying to really wrap my. I think that's what everybody. Honestly, I think that's like another allure, because I was trying to list out why this case stands out, but that was one of the main things that we keep coming back to. Is like, I think a lot of people can relate. I'm sorry, can't relate.
Yeah.
And it's like there's a bridge that you just can't cross to understand what these people are thinking.
No, and it makes you think about these parents. Look at what crazy things maybe they did,
Yeah.
you know, in their past. I don't know. Maybe she's a crooked DA. Who knows? I mean,
Damn, dude.
but she, you know, and that's a really slap in the face of law enforcement.
Yeah.
You know, hey, you work for us.
Yeah.
You know, you put the bad guys in jail. You're a DA.
Yeah.
You just slapped us in the face by lawyering up.
Right.
And not talking to us. So, I mean, she's, you know, she'll lose her job. Whether it doesn't matter how this thing turns out, she's done. I don't know about him. Like I said, I don't know what his job is, but she's done. Her practicing days are over already.
Oh yeah.
So I don't know what else to say. I'm completely at loss. Yeah. I hope this won't become another. Oh my God. Yeah.
I think the difference though is that we
got
him.
The thing with Delphi is that there's just not really anything points to exactly a suspect, but with this case, there's definitely all fingers pointing at this guy. He comes back without her. He's not talking. You know, if we had something like that in Delphi, I think it would have been solved, but we don't.
Yeah.
We just, you know, there's just not enough evidence there. But with this case, man, there's overwhelming. I mean, right now it's all circumstantial. But like I said, people start listening to the language of law enforcement and start listening to start listening to that language, because things are going to start changing with what they say. I would not be surprised if tomorrow we go from person of interest to suspect. I know I've already said that a million times.
It could have already happened. It might be happened by
the time we
wake up in the morning.
Yeah, as soon as we get off this, we may find, you know, that they're saying suspect.
God, this is so bizarre.
Yeah, it is. It is like
cases like this, although, you know, we talked earlier and everybody would agree, these things do happen a lot, but cases like this, where it's like the perfect storm of the social media, the public, the news, the circumstances, it's kind of rare. That's what I was telling Cass. It's like a Lacey Peterson type, OJ Simpson type. I mean, these are things that people latch onto and they're like, oh my God, like that's.
Yeah. And the bizarreness is, if that's even a word, of this case is, like, you know, we talked earlier about, was it because she's a pretty young girl? And no, I don't think so. I think it's just because we have a case that's just beyond bizarre, that a family, that's what kills me right now, is they've got the answers.
I know.
They've got and this poor family of Gabby, they don't have any answers.
They're sitting,
you know,
and
I'll tell you another thing. That autopsy they did today, they will not share the cause of death with that family. They're not going to know until the case gets brought to court.
Right.
Then they'll know. But this poor family's suffering. How they don't know what happened to their daughter. They know it was a homicide, but they don't know how she died. They don't know.
That's why
anything.
I told you last night I was watching that Dr. Phil special, and I literally stopped it and looked at Cass.
Did he talk like this?
He's like, well, like a lizard on a rock.
Yeah.
No, I told Cass, I was like, this is so hard to watch, because when they aired it, when he interviewed him, they hadn't found the body yet.
Yep.
But when they aired it, they had already found the body. And I was telling Cass, I was like, this is devastating to watch, dude. It's devastating.
Can you imagine? I mean,
no,
being a parent and you're watching all this crazy drama unfold in front of your eyes, and it involves you.
And you have zero control.
And you have no control whatsoever. And not only that, like, it breaks my heart that you would think, like, it'd be like your parents of me, and all of a sudden I cut off communication.
Right.
They're going, hey, what happened to Garrett? Or hey, what happened to Cass? You know, whatever. And we're just not going to talk to you. I mean, that is so disrespectful.
Yeah. It also, like,
the parents in fact, they interviewed them today. I think it was today or maybe yesterday. And that's what they said. They said they will not talk to us. They want answers, man.
They gave them their lawyer's number.
That's
that's the only thing they did.
How disrespectful is that? When you know the answers, you know what happened.
Yeah.
And
if you don't, then say, dude, I don't know. My kid went crazy. He's gone now. Like, give them.
Yeah, absolutely. And that just shows more guilt.
It does. Yeah.
Because you made a good point. They could say, hey, man, he just took off. We don't, I have no idea what the hell he was. I have no idea what he was thinking, right?
Let's help find Gabby. Right.
Let's look at the chat here. The search warrant came out pretty quick after the body was found. So I think they could tell foul play. Pretty good idea why they made the parents leave the house. Yeah, absolutely.
Good to see you again, Sinbad.
Yeah, Sinbad, nice to see you. Yeah, that's correct, Sinbad. I agree with that as well. I mean, you're not going to the parents' house to search for the hell of it.
Right.
So,
right.
And then you got, I kind of wonder, what are they looking for at the house? And I'm sure anything that possibly he brought back, but I'm sure he probably threw that shit out of the van on the side of the road all the way back to Florida.
Man, do you think they're tracking cameras?
Someone's gonna find. Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I
Dude,
mean,
what a vast.
hey,
operation.
that solved a lot of cases. Like,
See No Evil, great show on ID channel.
Yeah, where you see where a car goes into place with somebody, doesn't come out, and I watched these cops where they tracked each intersection, each camera, and watched him drive to his neighborhood,
right?
And so they knew, okay, it's a white Le Mans or whatever,
Dude,
right?
Or you see
and they find the white Le Mans, they solve the case.
Yeah, or you see it where they go in and they buy like a Snickers bar.
Big Brother is watching you, folks. So
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's hopefully, like I said, it's just I think my main thing is not only the death of this poor girl, but what the family's going through right now with not having any answers.
Right.
And even as morbid as it, to know how they died, you have that right to know. How your loved one was killed.
Yeah, absolutely.
And they have, and that's the other thing. If this thing draws out, these poor people are going to go months and months without knowing what happened.
For what?
Yeah.
So
we can get
Brian
this. We can get this creepy kid.
Yeah.
He is and try to save him.
To be fair, he is a creepy ass kid.
He is. He looks crazy. I mean, even when he talked, I think it was someone in chat room who said something about his speech was really fast, and he was like almost like meth. Like, yeah, you could tell there's something odd about him. I thought.
Yeah.
He may have been nervous, thinking, okay, I slapped her. God, if she says anything, I'm gonna get arrested. But
oh God, dude, what a disaster!
It is.
It's like 1 week of your life.
Yeah.
And all this.
Yeah.
Really, like one moment.
Yeah. So we're getting ready to wrap this up, guys. Dude. But if you guys while we're doing this, if you guys get an update where they find him, or because this could happen anytime. Maybe the parents get some brains about them and say, "Hey, give it up.
Yeah.
Okay, this is enough.
Anything.
This is enough. We're done." Yeah. Which should have been as soon as he pulled up and told him what happened.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're going to the police. It's just it's heartbreaking and it's wrong, and it just makes me so mad that he's doing this to Gabby's family.
Hey, can I tell you, good job though on this?
Yeah, great job.
Because this is a tough one.
It is. It's a very tough one.
I think this is the first one that we've done that's actually like really moving. Like as we're talking about it. I mean, of course, Delphi.
Yeah, but Delphi, of course, we got into that a year late.
Yeah.
But with this, man, it's like we said at the beginning, everybody's talking about it. All this information is coming in fast.
Yeah.
And then you got to sort through all the information from other people who are just saying stuff,
right.
And try to sort through and go, okay, does this make sense? Does this happen? Whatever. But hats off to the TikTok people.
Yeah.
Because that's, from what I understand, that's when they focused on searching that area, and bada bing, there she was. Yep. His van's there. Right. What else do you need?
Social media is crazy, dude.
Oh, I know. Can you imagine? I mean, all the odds of filming.
Yeah.
I thought at first maybe it's a dash cam or something.
Yeah.
But filming, and there's the van.
Yeah.
There is. I mean, they found every little mark on it, and they even said it had Florida tags and stuff.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's, and then they start searching there. They find a body 200 or 300 yards away.
Yep.
Let's get this guy and
let's get
him, or he needs to turn himself in, or I better yet, the parents need to do it.
We'll probably know something by the weekend. Hopefully.
I hope so. The parents, I think, like I said, they're living this wealthy life. I'm sure they don't want to give that up. They're probably under a tremendous amount of stress because they know what happened, and they may string along going, hey, we're going to prison, so let's stay in our wonderful house for about another month until they get and again, what fucking crazy is that to think like that?
They're going to hell.
Yeah, they're going. Yeah, there's places they're going for sure. But anyway,
hey, if you guys have updates and stuff, be sure to hit us up on social media with it.
Yeah, hit us up on Facebook. Like, if some of you guys who are new, we also have a Facebook page called Life After Life Paranormal Podcast. It sounds a bit deceiving, but we spend a lot of time on paranormal stuff, but we do unsolved crime and current crimes that are going on. Garrett and I needed a break from it for a while, so we did a whole lot of paranormal stuff. Like I said, we were supposed to have a demonologist on this week, and we may see if we can get someone on next week that deals with that kind of thing to talk us through it. Again, though, but if we get some great information and we feel like we can share that with you about this current case, we'll do another show on it.
Absolutely.
You know, what the heck? Let's get this guy. I almost want to get my car and just start looking for this guy
No.
and just put this
That
thing
was
to,
right there.
put it to bed. Yeah, I'm just so ashamed of the parents. I'm just,
I am too.
ugh. But anyway, what do you think, Garrett? Enough?
Love these.
You guys had
I love
enough?
our people.
Yeah, we love you guys.
Family, life after life family.
And Susie, thank you so much for this super chat there. We really appreciate that. And I guess we will see you next week.
See you next week, baby.
But again, like I'll try to keep you guys updated, and you do the same. Like Garrett said, if you find out any information, go to our Facebook page, post it up, because I check it usually every day, and so we can see what the heck's going on, right? All right. Well, listen, we love you guys, and we will see you next week, 7:15, unless Garrett decides to go on vacation. And
I am not doing that.